Well, we find ourselves here again. So everyone's talking about Mixtape. And I saw this game. I hated this game. This was a cringe fest. This ignited within my soul the desire to go on a warpath against Millennials. Millennials are absolute clowns. You know, going between the libertarianism, the trashy woke media that we've been having to tolerate now for like the last 10 years, and it just never ends. I've been on this warpath against millennials because they've just shown how much of a despicable generation they happen to be. I don't know why people are talking about this game though. I don't know why people are talking about Mixtape. I don't know why people... I think some people are shilling for this game. If you're shilling for this game, you're a freaking brown clown. By the way, enough said there. Enough said there. Those are those are going to be the only people shilling for this, or it's going to be fag white people, okay? It's never anything different. It's always a brown clown or some fag whitey. It's just always the same group. So it's very predictable. The physiognomy is 100% accuracy. Anyway, so much like the James Bond review that I did, where the frick do I start with this one? And this is going to be a shorter video because I just hate this game and I really cannot bother with it, but I did want to talk about it at some point. And I think a part of what this video is going to be is me talking about the retards who are shilling for this game. And the people who are also chasing a conversation with this game. This game is objectively bad. We have now gone through one bad woke game after the other. And something fascinating to me is how we have multiple trashy products that come out. Trashy games. Indiana Jones: The Great Circle, absolute dog filth horse trash. And it's so interesting to me how for some reason you have a lot of people who just completely ignore some woke dog trash that comes out that's just absolute nonsense. You know, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, character assassinates Indiana Jones. And then the most recent 007 First Light game completely character assassinates James Bond, and I don't know if people are going to be talking about that and trashing on the game, much like people are trashing on this game. This is an easy whipping post, this game. And this is the issue with games like this, is that it's an easy target. And then for some reason, the same people who are gunning down an easy target, apparently the fast-moving targets that you don't have enough aim and muscle reflex for, you can't seem to land a freaking shot to save your life. Apparently, like what, Dragon Age the Veilguard. I can't remember. People kind of trashed on that a little bit. But then we got all these other games that people just totally ignore how ridiculous and stupid and insufferable they are. Like Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, for instance. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that people just happen to ignore. So it's always weird whenever you see, oh, and then people of note. Did anyone even talk about that game? That was also ridiculous. Like, you know, we're going through one terrible game after another. This is all woke dog trash. And you have to ask yourself, why are people talking about this but not about that? Why is this in the public consciousness but that's not? I think all of it's a psyop. I think it's people who are these really strange shills. I don't know what they're shilling for anymore. They're definitely shills. I think that they're all trying to grift, and I'm actually going to use this word for this scenario. I don't like using this term most of the time. But these people are grifters, and I think that's the only thing that you can define about them. These are clowns that they want to ride an easy bandwagon so that they don't piss anyone off, they don't affect their bottom line, and so that they can keep the money rolling in on their trashy channels. They're trashy, fake opinion YouTube channels or whatever else. That's what it is. And that's what we keep running into. So anyways, it's just, I've been noticing that there's a lot of conversation around this game. Some people are playing it safe. They're saying this game's not that bad. Oh, actually, I think this game was kind of okay, guys. What do you mean? Because, okay, now we're going to get into me trashing on the game. We got this whole conversation going on surrounding the game. People, I don't know what's going on through these clowns' heads. But it's like, this game is objectively horrendous. The dialogue is cringy. The pacing's terrible. There's no plot development. The characters are so insufferable. The main female character is so annoying. She is so smarmy and snarky and just die. Just die. That's all I can say. And not in Minecraft. Screw you, ho. My gosh, man. And then the freaking Beta Bucks Deluxe, freaking loser over here. The freaking white, no, he's not white. I don't know. The freaking dude in the game that's complete cock. His character is just a complete loser. He's not a man. He's built like a woman that has emaciated breasts. Something I keep realizing with all this woke media. All these women have emaciated breasts. And if they're not emaciated, these women are just disgusting and obese. Okay? So it's like you just don't get hot, sexy, well-developed women. Okay? Basically, you have Epstein Island survivors in all these woke games. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe all these developers went to the island. Just a big question I have to ask. Big question, because holy effing crap. Everyone's ugly in these games. I'm sorry. What happened to games like Lollipop Chainsaw, where Juliet has an amazing freaking fat rack and a very thin waist? What happened to that? Why is it that now being a fag is supposed to be super cool and it's super du jour right now? No, it's not. It's lame. It's lame and gay. So, got a lot of people I am noticing who are very afraid, and they're walking on eggshells talking about this game. They're not willing to go the whole way in on how stupid this game is and how bad it is. But you know, if you've seen this game, if you've just watched 30 minutes of this game, you know how bad it is. You know that the dialogue sucks. This game is just a crappy movie game. And it's a great example of what's happened to the gaming industry, where all the industry has turned into is just trashy movies. Movies that no one would see, but for some reason games that we should all play and that some loser retards play. This is a waste of multiple hours. Movies are shorter than this. At least when you're watching a bad movie, it's over pretty soon. Okay? But when we're watching dog filth like this, yeah, it's like 8 hours long. Like James Bond was around 12 to 13 hours long. And then the Indiana Jones Great Circle game was that was around 14 hours or something like that. So, and then Last of Us 2 was, oh my gosh, it was like, 36 hours or something? I don't know, it was torturous sitting through that game. So here we are. Okay. This game is a liberal's wet dream. This game is a bunch of insufferable C-word women who are annoying as all get out. They're completely full of themselves. They're angsty all the time for no good reason. They hate their fathers, or they just have angst against their parents. The women are not straight. They are questionably gay in this game. And the dude is a cock, and he's probably also gay. Okay, so this just personifies the retardation of later millennials by 1,000. Okay, how many millennials are these liberal retards? Just these insufferable everything you can think, insufferable C words, insufferable fags. These are just insufferable people. Freaking millennials, and we all remember them, and there's a reason why the boomers and the Gen Xers hated millennials. Millennials, a lot of them hate themselves. I don't know who enjoys being a millennial, and all of them turned out to be fat in the end. Even the hot chicks, the millennial hot chicks, they turned out to be fat, and they were freaking hot. You had 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10 millennial women, and they also turned fat. Not all of them, but there's a trend amongst millennials to just get fat, and I don't know what that's about. That's disgusting and that's pathetic. Put down the freaking cheeseburger, bruh. It's pathetic. So, you know, this game is a great expression, great representation on insufferable millennials. And millennials to this day are still insufferable. They're insufferable libertarians. You know, meanwhile, as like Europe is erupting into flames, and I don't know, there's all this forced copulation from Muslims onto young British girls or Irish girls, you know, just all of the European Union. Who gives a crap? Because we got to be centrist and we got to just turn a blind eye or not give a crap about what's going on. Okay, these clowns have no ground to stand upon. These clowns have nothing they believe in. These clowns will believe in freedom to the absolute sacrifice of their fellow neighbor, their fellow self, and themselves and their own family. They will sacrifice everyone in their life so that, well, not all immigrants are bad, so we should let them in. Okay, well, is that working great for your country? No, it's not. You know, is it working for France? Is it working for Portugal? Is it working for anywhere? No, it's not. Every country is turning into a freaking hellhole right now because of the third worldification. But dumb, dude, I want to go DEFCON 5 on this one, but oh, I gotta hold myself back. Freaking proletariat morons, these communist, liberal millennials who say they're libertarians, these people are the reason why we're living in a hellscape today. I don't care about anything else. They bought all the liberalism wholesale. So many of them were just woke fags. They didn't give a crap and they were super glib about it the whole way through. And now they're all seething because they're living in the reality that they wanted to put us all through. And now we're living through third world hellism today in a lot of first world countries. No one's enjoying it, but hey, at least we're not bad people. At least we're not racist, right? Thank God. Thank God we live now in the leftist paradigm, the millennial paradigm. And of course, I have things I could trash on a good select number of the previous generations that also gave into wokeness and leftism. But with all that being said, and then, you know, we got other problems now today with the modern generations are getting completely air fried by these censorship algorithms that exist on every platform. But regardless of the fact, this game is a great expression and representation of these insufferable people and their insufferable politics and what it's done to first world countries. And now we're going through, so for one, again, I want to get through this real quick because I honestly would rather talk about other games. I hate this game and it's just worth trashing on it because this resembles just how, okay, we have a disgusting, no, yeah, this is French kissing, freaking. What the so you saw it, okay? That's all you need to see. Oh, dude, these people that we're hiring to make, dude, this costs millions of dollars to make these games. These people have no business. They don't have any talent. They have no artistic direction, no artistic soul. They don't have a soul. They're a filthy freaking goyim. These freaking pathetic clowns, dude. They ruin everything they touch. They ruin every country they touch. They're not worthy of being a director, a writer, a developer. I mean, quite frankly, we need to find a freaking island for these people and permanently execute them in Minecraft on the island, on our Skyblock server. These people are pathetic. And watching how bad they are at Minecraft, okay, okay, the middle fingers, bro. Oh my gosh. I hate this. You know, okay, dude. You have no idea. I just don't even want to talk about this game. You see how bad it is. I don't even have to really say much at this point. These people need to be exiled from civilization, okay? These writers need to be exiled. They need to be forcibly grabbed and placed into a different country. I have to say this on all these freaking liberals, the boomer liberals, the freaking Gen X liberals, and definitely the freaking millennials. Send these people to Africa, all right? They deserve to live in an ethno-state that is really an ideological ethno-state because, you know, they believe in multiculturalism. They all need to go. Every liberal needs to live in Africa. We need to grab these people and forcibly pick them up and send them in a cargo plane over to Africa. They can go live there. And we can go build a freaking mud hut for them and they can sit in it. Okay? And they can continue making their crappy video games and movies, but for their fellow African population to watch. This is what we need to do to these people. They must be forcibly exiled. Of course, if I were dictator, it'd be a forcible execution. But of course, we're not. I'm not a dictator, so we can't do that in Minecraft. So, you know, maybe I'll be voted in on the Minecraft server as dictator at some point, and I look forward to the day. But right now, we are forced to play Minecraft with these clowns ruining our media day in and day out. And I just wish these people would go live in Africa forever and never bother the rest of us ever again. But here we are. You know what, actually, though? It's actually funny because if every white liberal ran off to go live in Africa, it would probably be an actual white country at that point in time, because Africa is just spilling into every other country that exists that's better than Africa. And I'm going to hold myself back from going on a racial tirade because I'm just going to get pissed off and angry, and then this video is just going to become longer. Again, the cinematography sucks, the pacing sucks, the humor sucks, the pacing on humor sucks in this game. This is not funny, this is not charming, this is not compelling, this sucks. This game and its story sucks, the characters suck, and then we get this retard montage here. This is supposed to be like some really touching moment. Wow, so artistic. What, dude? Okay, the unzipping. What the frick is that? So again, you know, someone tried to make the joke here. Oh, this is an art project. This is some rich kid's art project. Yeah, okay. This is some autistic, liberal kids, millennial art project. I know that's Larry Ellison's daughter that made this, a complete effing clown. I have nothing to say past this, dude. It's just like, this is just bad. And this just shows how desecrated our media landscape is. The fact that we're spending millions of dollars on this as an indie project. You couldn't find some guy that's talented that's trying to strike it out big. You couldn't find some guy that's worth his salt and have him work on a really touching story that actually people want to sit down and experience. You know, there was a time where people actually sat down with films, movies, and video games, and they enjoyed the stories they were being told. And people used to be a lot more critical than they are now today. Literally back at, even as, I would have to say, like, the last year that was the most critical before culture started changing was basically 2012, which, I mean, go figure, that was the second term of Obama, so okay. But yeah, people quickly double backed on being so critical of media. There was a time where people were saying that good games like Uncharted, like the Tomb Raider reboot series, good games like those, people were trashing on them slightly and just being very critical. And there's, you know, Max Payne and Hitman Absolution, and we can go down a long list of, there's so many games that people used to be so critical of, and now you compare all those games to what we're getting now today, and like, isn't it interesting and amazing that we come from a time where media was really good and people used to sit down with media and just digest actual substance and quality in our media. But now today, you look at all the media that people are sitting down with, and it's just like, it's just parody hour. But everyone that's making this stuff, they intend it to be completely serious, and you're supposed to take it for face value, but the face value sucks. And so we're all sitting here and we hate this media that's coming out, and everyone's laughing at it, but everyone's too afraid to actually label out what's the problem. And who's causing this? And I don't know, maybe we should do something about these people, like exile them to Africa. That would be a great idea. And if I were dictator, anyways, you know, but like seriously, maybe these people should be fired. Maybe these people should not be given these jobs. Maybe people that are actually talented should be given these jobs and actually make good products. But by the way, this is what happens. This is not capitalism, you retarded fag liberals. This is not capitalism at play anymore. This is socialism. Now we're saying that anyone, no matter what, should just be allowed to make a game, make a movie. That we should not have any quality or qualification of skill and expertise apply to the creation process of our media. So if you're not concerned about the bottom dollar of your company, you're not concerned about the bottom dollar of your investment to make these products come out and come into fruition, like all the things that we're seeing now today, and you believe that just anyone and everybody should be able to make a product, then you get dog trash that everyone, you know, treats as a laughing stock. No one takes this crap seriously, but nothing gets better. And we're just going to continue having more woke dog trash, one after the other, next after next, and it's never going to get better. And this is because we do not have a capitalistic society anymore. No one actually fears that this is a bad investment because they have infinity money that's being backed by the government. This is what socialist media looks like. It is propaganda. There's an endless swath of budget to work with to just make one dog trash game after the next. Or I'm sorry, one dog trash media piece after the next. If you want trash art that demoralizes the masses, and by the way, what is so important about art in the end is a psychological function of passing down generational value that also fills the soul and rejuvenates it and brings in the morale. It enlivens the morale of the soul of the viewer that's watching. That's what great, beautiful art, that's what compelling art does. Bad art demoralizes you, demoralizes a population. It defeats the purpose and the soul within the people of a nation. So this is what socialism brings us. This is not the first time in history, but this is definitely a great case study that we've now seen for far too many years. And I don't think it's getting any better at all. I think that we're stuck with this. And there's a lot of reason now to believe that we're stuck with this. But this is now what we're put up with. This is what we have to put ourselves through, is go through all this nonsense. We have to watch bad media, and there's an endless trough of money to pour into all these crappy projects. You know, Megan Ellison, Larry Ellison's daughter, she's just gonna make another game. You think she's gonna go away? You think she's being exiled to Africa? You think she's gonna be fired and never work in the gaming industry again? No, she's going to continue getting millions of dollars that should go to talented men who can actually make good products. She's going to continue getting money for these trash products and games and stories or whatever else she happens to do that's air quotes creative. And people like her are going to be getting money as well for future projects. This is not going to get better. This is the canary in the coal mine. This trash media that we're getting now today. This, for us, is a hint or a taste of what is more to come. It will never get better. And we are now living in what many believed would be the social utopia the socialist utopia of our modern media landscape today. Well, now we're living through it. Everything sucks. Everything's backed by governmental money. You know, and there's a bunch of loopholes on that too. But anyway, it's all backed by governmental money. So it's endless until people revolt. And there's, you know, I don't see that there's going to be, and no one's revolting. So because no one's revolting over the dog crap that our money is getting freaking peddled into, we're stuck with this. We're stuck with bad, media. We're stuck with trash media. We're stuck with all this demoralization that the population must suffer with as the country continues to get worse and worse. And I mean this with really any first world nation. Your country is being killed in real time. Your media is being used to demoralize and subvert you, to propagandize and condition you to think that multiculturalism is fine and it's great and we should allow a bunch of blacks and browns into our countries, and you know, women should look ugly and dudes should look like emaciated women, and like traditional masculinity, it's a bad thing, it's toxic. Traditional femininity makes women look weak and makes them look too soft and makes them look, oh my gosh, look at that, die young and pretty. It's just pathetic. Just shut the F up. Anyways, right, it's problematic that women come across as if they're stupid and all they're good for are their looks. Oh, that's a big deal. How dare you? We can't have that. We're going to continue pushing all these stupid liberal notions. It's never going to get any better. These people have endless money and no one's going to revolt against all this money laundering. This is a fraud embezzlement here, this game, okay? This is someone running with the money. This is absolutely generated off of fraud, off of the taxpayer dollar. And we must suffer this demoralization as all first world countries are being killed into oblivion. Who's to give a crap what's going on? Who's to give a crap about how liberal policies are literally ruining every facet of every civilization and every pocket that it touches? The rising crime rates, the immigrants, the feminism, the nuking birth rates, all the problems, and also the problems with economy tied to Democrats and Democrat policies. We are stuck with this. It's disgusting, it's insufferable, and that's what this game represents. You know, I can end it there, but I will say this final thing. It is so sad for me to see what's happening to our media. It is sad for me to see how we have to tolerate this demoralization. There was a time where we had great media, and a lot of men, they want to strive to become more because our media inspired them to become more. This is the kind of stuff that gives men no hope for the future, and it gives them no soul to look inward upon and bolster and grow from within to without. We are now placated in this media landscape that is just built to destroy the souls of the Goyim. That you must be a Goyim, remain a Goyim, and you must internalize the inner defeat of the Goyim's plight forever into perpetuity. Anyways, guys, thank you for being here on the video. We're going to get into other games. I've spoken a little bit too long on this, but I just wanted to talk about it. I wanted to kind of, for my own sake, correct the record on all the freaking clowns out there. They're just talking in circles, saying a bunch of crap that really just cuts around all the BS that this game is, and every game that's like it, and what's actually going on in the industry, the gaming and the movies and the books industry, all creative products. What is actually going on, and what is the after effect? What are the damages of bad media? And why is this being utilized to destroy the souls of every single individual in every single first world country? What is this being done for? Why all this demoralization? Why all this internalization of self-defeat over and over and over again? Nobody else wants to talk about this. Everyone's beating around the bush because, again, like I'm just gonna say it for this circumstance, these are just grifters, these are shills, and these are pathetic, soulless Goyim YouTubers who are sitting here running the bat for the game, or they're just talking past. You have no idea how many people I've seen. This game's a 0 out of 10. Okay, the dialogue sucks, the characters suck, the events suck, the pacing sucks. This is a 0 out of 10. This is a 0 out of 10. And I've seen people say this is a 6 out of 10. I don't give a crap what the argument is. I don't care about all the ninjutsu that we're gonna play, the psychological, intellectual ninjutsu. I don't give a freaking crap. This is a 0 out of 10. It deserves to be called a 0 out of 10, especially as a movie. Who the F would watch this? This is disgusting. Who wants to look at that? Who wants to look at that face? Disgusting. Disgusting. Who wants to look at this trash? This is horrendous media. And you've literally had people who act like they're anti-woke or something like that. And these people sit there and they're like, oh, it's a 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10. Are you freaking serious? And you have a bunch of people that have just run cover fire for this freaking nonsense. It's too much. Too many people. That's effectively shilling. If you're not going to say something truthfully, it's just shilling. And I'm so freaking fed up with this nonsense. Anyways, all right, I'm done. We're talking about the next game.